Hello, 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 and welcome to Donnie Jones Live. Today we have an awesome show, which I know, once again, I always say that, but guess what? As you can tell, we are out in the field right now, and that's because not only am I visiting one of our job sites, I'm actually visiting a school that is doing great things for kids, and I actually met a young woman who is making a difference in children's lives, and we are here at the DATE Academy, which stands for the DeKalb Academy of Technology and Environment, and I'm talking with none other than Nanette Shillingford, who's actually kind of the coordinator and puts everything together and has made this happen. So I wanted you guys to get a chance to meet her.
Awesome.
How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
And thank you for doing this with us today. We really appreciate it. Can you tell the people a little bit about yourself? And basically, we'll go into what I'm so excited about, but I just was amazed with you. Tell us a little bit about how you got into this.
Okay, how I got into this, particularly with the DeKalb Academy of Technology and the Environment. My children were students here at first. I used to work in the corporate world. I was an engineer by trade, owned a few businesses, and then I decided I wanted to go into teaching so that I could be there to support my kids more.
Yes.
So that's how I got to DATE Academy.
Okay.
With the actual greenhouse.
Yes.
With the greenhouse, I am a green thumb person.
Yes.
Botanist.
Yes.
I love growing crops. I love being outside in the fields. I like working with the chickens. So we had this idea about a greenhouse.
Yeah.
Well, the greenhouse itself ended up being on a slab of concrete that the kids used to run around and play on and all of that. And so I said, oh my goodness, now the kids need somewhere to play.
That's right.
So we went from the greenhouse, and over in this area, all of it was filled with trees.
Yeah.
And there are two reasons now, because it's not just the kids playing. The chicken coop, because we're going to turn all this into organic feed.
Okay.
And the ground, we'll be able to feed our chickens from the ground itself.
Okay.
So we're going to be cultivating that. But what I did, instead of just cutting back the trees, I'm sorry, I turned this way. Instead of cutting back the trees from the chickens, we went ahead and cut down some space so that we can level this area out and the kids will have a playing area in this area.
Well, I can tell that you're passionate about it, but your story is so fascinating to me because, you know, my thing is kids.
Yes.
You know, and even though I do these interviews and talk to inspirational people and inspire entrepreneurs, this is where it starts. It starts with the children, and you're making a difference in their lives.
Yes.
So did you have it sounds like you did have a background, and you mentioned a little bit about your background in the green industry. How did you get into that?
Well, I'm an engineer by trade.
Okay.
I grew up, my grandfather had 150 acres of land.
Oh, wow.
So I grew up where there was corn, chicken. They made preserves, jelly, candy. My grandmother made grease.
Yes.
So it's kind of innate in me, honestly.
It's in the blood, as they say.
It's just in my blood,
right,
I promise. I didn't even expect all this to come into fruition.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I am here because he directed me to be here.
You can say his name, God. Thank you. Yes, you can.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
I just followed. He said, with all that talent that you have,
Yeah.
so I told you, I've owned businesses before. I've worked in corporate America, making all the money before. I've worked with engineers. So at first I was like, oh, not me, a teacher.
I'm a teacher.
Right. And so then he showed me, he said, you're more than a teacher and you have something to give back. So with all those blessings that I have bestowed on you and with all that talent that you have, go back and share it with somebody else.
Right.
So that was my biggest motivation. From this greenhouse to this chicken coop to the garden over there, I'll be training my children they'll actually know themselves how to put together an aquaponic system of their own.
Okay, back up. You got to tell us what aquaponic means.
Okay.
See, you're the engineer.
Okay, an aquaponic system is a system that will allow you to grow vegetation and crops without soil.
Oh, wow.
The wonderful thing about it is because we have garden beds on the other side with soil. So in the classrooms, the students will learn the difference between growing plants in an aquaponic system as opposed to growing them in the soil. Also in the aquaponic system, where you get your nutrients from in an aquaponic system is from fish.
Okay.
With water. So we have 2 large fish tanks. Eventually, we will be selling those fish as it grows. We're at the inception point. Yes.
Okay.
It's such a story to it. I could be online all day.
I know you could. That means we may have to come back.
You have to come back.
But the thing that fascinates me is that you had an idea to be able to make a difference in these kids' lives and to impact them. Because like you said, this greenhouse was not there prior to you being here.
No, it was not.
This chicken coop was not there prior to you being there.
I have to digress a little.
A little bit. It was there, but it was given to you.
And I have expanded it.
You've expanded it. That's what I mean. You took it to the next level.
I did.
But the reason why I think that's so important is because you are in a school system.
Yes.
But you found a way to impact the kids' lives, of course with their support, but you have these ideas and
Yes.
you implemented them.
Yes.
What did it take for you to go, okay, I have this idea, but I have this structure that I have to work within? What did you have to do to get your dreams to come to fruition?
You know what? This is what I will have to say. It is the administration of this school at the Cab Academy of Technology
They're
and
great
Environment.
people.
They are great people, and if you are a person that has a desire to do something and to make a difference,
Yeah.
when I say they will support you 101%, I love being here.
Yeah.
I enjoy my job.
Yeah.
You know, as of course it's work like anything else, but the environment is such a good, peaceful environment. And when I say that, his Dr. Maury Wills, he is the headmaster of the Cab Academy. He always says that he is growing leaders, and he does not just say it; he actually means it. If you come with an idea and you are responsible enough to head it up and take off with it, he will support you 101%.
So what would you say to teachers? Because obviously this is a great environment. I've worked over here in this environment before, and everybody is about the kids and is about making a difference and bringing technology and the environment and mathematics and all of that to the kids. What do you say to teachers or just people in the community that do have ideas to make a difference but may not have the same support that you have? How can they implement their dreams?
One of the things that you can do, the first thing you have to do, it has to be embedded in you, and you have to really want to do it.
Yeah.
Because you are going to have to put some hard work into
Yes,
it.
that's right.
It's great now, but I was here over the whole summer.
Yeah.
So I chose.
Oh, so you mean you put some work in?
You have to put some serious work in. So that's the first thing. You got to be dedicated to the cause. Once you're dedicated to the cause and know that you are going to make a difference, that you are planting seeds in another kid's life.
Oh, that's so
that, you
good.
know, I have to tell you this one thing because
Please
it's
do.
so exciting. No, just the other day, and this was an honor. I don't know if I should be telling this or not because he'll probably do it at a ribbon cutting, but he's actually going to find a way to put some of my name in that building. And that's an honor to me. That means when I am gone, there will be a building with my name on it, and my name will live on. So you have to have that kind of desire to do something. Of course, there are grants. You have to have a plan. You really have to have a plan.
I think that's where I was trying to lead you to, is that you had a plan.
I had a plan.
And a lot of times, as soon as you put a plan into place, it's like God starts
He
moving
just took
things.
the wheel and did everything else.
Absolutely.
I promise every piece of this ground that I work on, I say, God, lead me, direct me, let your will be done, whatever it is you want to do.
Absolutely.
And when I'm coming in the morning, I'm saying I want to shine and be a superstar, not because of me, but because of you. So that when people look at me, they will see the work that you're doing through me.
That's awesome. On that note, I want to take a look at this real quick, if it's possible to take a look at this. The area that we cleared out for your kids.
Yes.
Okay. You had contacted us, and that's how I got a chance to know you, is through you contacting us about your kids.
Yes.
And basically, there was an area that looked like all wooded like this.
Yes.
This old area looked like that up until a week ago.
Absolutely.
And then we cleared it out. Why was it important for you to have a place for the kids to run around and play?
Because kids, our students, we call them scholars, and they work really hard.
Yeah.
But just like as an adult, you need a moment to break.
Yeah.
They need to run out here and exert some of their energy, have somewhere they can run around and have play for a minute, get their mind together, actually before they go back in and be productive on the inside.
That's right.
So I'm a big advocate of recess. And I know a lot of times they don't even want to give it to the older kids, but I always tell adults, think about us. When we're in meetings ourselves, we take a break, go to the bathroom, we go
get some more coffee,
something, because you need that break. And for me, that is so important, because the academics, absolutely number one, but they're still humans, they're still people, they still need to have somewhere they can run around and exert that energy. And to me, that was one of the priorities that I wanted, because when that there were so many spots on the area, and you have to do surveys, and there weren't convenient spots. That was the only convenient spot that we could put it. But when I found out that I was taking away the kids' play area, I kept thinking, how could I? We started out with the chicken coop because, of course, when you have chickens, you may have rodents. It was so much, so many trees and bushes and overgrowth there that I said, okay, we're going to get rid of that, which we no longer have, for the note. They are now gone.
There are no rodents there.
I want to clarify that. No, because we have cleared the area out, seriously. So we fixed that. And we also have a guy who's going to come, our kids are going to learn in the classroom, like what type of bushes and plants that you actually plant to repel those type of things. So that kind of trickled on. And to be totally honest with you, I'm going to tell you, this is how it's the God in it. I have to keep going back to him.
You have to go
When
back.
I came, there were trees like literally up to the greenhouse. In our mind, and in my mind, I really was thinking, oh, we'll just cut. This is all I saw.
Yeah.
And when you guys came and went, I promise you, everybody was like, whoa.
Wow.
And it's just
Thank
something
you.
that happened. So it's going to be a plus, because even with another guy that I'm working with Swanson Farms, he's going to come out and help us cultivate the land.
awesome.
And doing it, I don't even need all of this space, so I can share. So you have other administrators in the building that are so excited.
And they want a piece of it.
Oh, they want a piece of this
Well,
to do some things with. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I know you got to get back to the kids, and we want to see you in action a little bit.
I would like.
So let's see what you do.
Okay.
We'll be right back in a minute watching Mrs. Nanette Shillingford do her thing in the classroom. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Range. When you're talking about the pH balance of something, and I'm only showing this because this is saying these are just 3. There are several plants, but these are 3 of the plants that may thrive well in an aquaponic system. And when they're thriving, they need to have a pH balance of 5.5 to 6.5, or 6.0 to 6.5, or 6.0 to 7.0. Now my lettuce. Will my lettuce really be able to grow in a pH balance where it's like a 5.5? No. Because what does it pH balance does it need to have?
6.0 to 7.
Hello, we are back with Donnie Jones Live. I am your host, Donnie Jones, and this is our guest, Nanette Shillingford, with the DATE Academy, which stands for
The Cab Academy of Technology and the Environment.
Yes, and we are talking all about the environment today, which I know you guys got a little bit of a chance to see that. But I want to talk a little bit about Nanette, which we talked a little bit by the chicken coop, but I think we were too busy chasing chickens.
Yes, we were.
To get into detail. But, you know, your story is inspiring to me because you are an African-American woman doing great things, inspiring kids in the scientific field and in the environmental field. What got you into that? Like, obviously, you've got a passion for it, but that came from somewhere.
Yes, my passion came from having a green thumb. I think it started with that. Again, I think I mentioned before, I grew up where I had a grandfather who had 150 acres of land. So I grew up seeing corn.
Can he be my granddad?
I know,
No, I'm just
I sure miss him. But he lived to be 95 years old. My grandmother, 99 years old. But they had chickens and cows and horses. I remember, the only thing I remember my grandmother going to the store for was sugar and flour.
Right.
Because they had everything else in their garden. So it's kind of crazy that it comes back now that I'm into this, because sometimes things are innate in you and you don't really realize it.
Right. It's your gift.
It's my gift. It really is. Prior to doing this for the DeKalb Academy of Technology, I actually did it at my own home. I always have a garden at my own home. I like the fact of growing my own food because I know that it's not processed. Right. It's a lot of pesticides out there that have cancerins in them, causing cancer for people. So I was trying to be a little more health conscious. But that's really where my passion comes. It's like it's a gratification when you actually start something.
What's the most gratifying thing about putting something in the ground and then seeing it come up? What's the most gratifying thing?
When you actually see it harvest and everything didn't die for the year. I mean, that is what's real fulfilling, because it's an art to it. You know, and it is a lot of work. It looks really pretty when you see it, but most gardeners will tell you, or most farmers will tell you, literally, they're out there almost every day. If you're not pulling up the weeds, you're trying to keep the moisture in the ground. You're trying to pull up things as they get ripe. So it's not something that you just go put a seed and it becomes pretty. Right.
So what do you do if it's somebody like me? I know you teach children, which we're going to get into that a little bit, but if you're somebody like me, like I'm in the green industry, meaning I trim trees and cut down trees, but I'm not good at growing stuff. What does the average person do if they want to, you know, grow some stuff?
Well, you know, this is what I always tell my children. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. The information is out there for everything you need to know. And I'm really pretty much self-taught. I did not go to, I don't have a environmental degree. What I did is I decided this is something I have a passion for. But just having a passion for it, I didn't want to just do the cuteness. Oh, I have some leaves. I actually wanted to know the theory behind it, the information behind what makes it grow, what bacteria are healthy, what microorganisms grow.
Reading books yourself?
Reading books myself, going online, taking the time to actually learn the knowledge behind what I was doing. doing, and that made me even more engrossed and want to know.
What do you see in your kids? Because I get excited watching what you do, you know, and it's obviously you're excited, but we were in your classroom and these kids are like engaged.
Yes.
And a lot of times in classrooms you don't see that. So what is it you're doing to make that happen, and what do you enjoy most about it?
Okay, I think what makes it happen is my little statement up there. If you see, this says, "Welcome to Ms. Shillingford's class where environmental science and STEAM are lifestyle." I try to teach my kids and give them real world. When I'm talking to them, a lot of times, if you are talking about a lot of content and these big words and vocabulary, and they're feeling like, why is this important to me? I try to help them to understand how it's important to them, how you can go to your own home and do your own garden, where you can grow your own food, where you can grow your own chickens. And I find the kids get so excited. Like, they come and ask me for seeds. I have kids that's gone home and planted some seeds, wait till they're germinated. And a few of the kids go home and germinate the seeds and come back, and I've actually put them in the garden. And some of the kids that have it in the garden, they come to me at the door, "Miss Shillingford, can I go check my stuff in the garden and see if it's growing?" So a lot of times when you do hands-on and you can see it. So what I try to do is bring everything to life to them, and I also always instill in them that this is something you can use your whole life. And I believe that's what inspires them, because it relates to them and it's not just content.
So there's that gap once again where you were this businesswoman, you were in the business world, and then now you're at this wonderful school. We talked about bridging that gap, but what was the thing that said, "I want to be a teacher"?
The thing that said I want to be a teacher, and I guess I'll have to...
Or the moment, I should say.
Yeah, you know, I struggled with it. Honestly, I struggled with it at first because I was this corporate woman, used to making my 6 figures and being on a plane in first class, and I thought, oh my, teaching was beneath me.
Right.
Honestly, that's the honest truth. But then God had to show me that you have all these talents, go back and give something. And to be honest, I have been at the most peaceful in my life since I have been doing this, because I can tell that when I leave here, I want to leave a legacy. I want people to remember, what have I instilled? What seeds have I planted that will harvest when I'm gone? And so it means so much more, because again, I can have a big salary and I was going to work. I was totally stressed. I hated my job, even though I was happy when I got the paycheck. And then I started saying, well, what's more important? You know, and I think that your life is longer when you're peaceful. And what really makes it mean so much to me, I have children of my own. It allowed me the opportunity to be more flexible, to spend more time with them. And I started looking at what's important in life. And oftentimes we look at the dollar and think that money makes you happy. And money does not make you happy. At the end of the day, what difference are you making in another person's life?
What are you imparting into somebody else's life? As like you said, planting a seed and watching it grow. And that's what you're doing with these children.
That's what motivates me.
And they're going to be able to do that for other people. You guys, we're once again here talking with Nanette Shillingford. How do we get in contact with you if we want to find out more about gardening or just get some tips?
You can email me. My email is nshillingford, and Shillingford is spelled SHILLINGFORD @dateacademy.org.
Beautiful. And what's in your garden?
Okay, what's in my garden? I have lettuce and basil, eggplants, squash, and we actually have some green beans. And the nice thing about Georgia, the weather here, because that makes a difference, because it stays warmer here a little bit longer, we have a little more grace period to plant things a little later in the season. Because that's something else my students are learning, because a lot of times people think you can just go throw seeds in the ground. There's actually an art to that as well, because it's seasonal.
There's a time.
Like
everything in life. It relates back to, once again, life skills and you know, building a beautiful life. Although collards and mustards too. We got some collard greens, y'all.
This is in the fall. That's usually your season for all of your greens, like your mustards and your collards and your broccoli and your cabbages and things like that. A little more hardy.
Gotcha. So what's next for you? Like, what's your goal? What's your big thing that you want to do?
My biggest goal for right now is the part that we really haven't talked about, but I'm also the STEM coordinator here. And I mentor a group of 8th grade students that actually go out to the daycares, and they mentor children between the age of 3 and 5 years old. And what we're trying to do is plant a seed in those kids before they actually come to school. So when you say one of my dreams or desires, I'm hoping to have a fleet of buses. Because right now, if you go outside and you see we have one. Yeah. We gutted out the bus and we made it into a classroom. So we go to, again, the different daycares. I would like to service the state of Georgia with a fleet of buses. And right now I have a STEM team of about 20 students. I would like to be able to have up to 100 students so that they all can get some hands-on experience.
How many buses do you need to make that happen?
I would say even if I had 10 buses, I'll take 5 to start out with, to start going to different locations. But that's one of my dreams and desires to have.
Well, somebody out there, y'all hearing this, we're going to make this happen for Miss Shillingford.
I would love
Shillingford,
that.
because she's making it happen for these kids, and that's a beautiful thing. That is an absolutely beautiful thing.
Yes.
Well, once again, we'd love to take a look at your garden that you have here at the school.
Absolutely.
So do you mind if we take a walk out and take a peek at that?
Yes.
All right.
I love it.
So when we come back, we'll get a chance to take a look at her garden and also what else she has on the horizon.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, this is the awesome STEM STEAM bus. I take 8th graders out every Friday. We go to the local daycares. We service children between the age of 3 and 5. And the focus and goal is to plant seeds in little students before they actually start school.
We're out here once again with Nanette Shillingford in the Date Academy, talking about some of the things that she's doing with her garden also. And I wanted to know what was actually in the garden. So if you can tell the viewers a little bit about what's in the garden, that would be great.
Yes. What's great is that we have these labels here. And if you look here, we have onions all the way on that side. We have a few pumpkins that's starting to grow here, some flowers. On this side, we have some sweet peppers growing. Over there are the eggplants that are growing. Now, we just started that like a couple weeks ago. Over there, some more squash. If you go all the way over here, I have to give him a little plug because he is awesome. Mr. Anderson, who is our health person, one of our health people, these two he's taking responsibility for. Those are some green beans that are growing over there.
Wonderful.
And I think some more squash. One of the awesome things about it, this is how learning just by doing.
Yes.
This is a pollination garden. And just in doing it and told you self-taught learning, it's a wonderful thing that happened on accident. I put flowers in there, but after a while I learned that that's an awesome thing to do because all of the bugs and the beetles and everything, they all gravitate
over
to
there.
This growing bed. That way they're not eating up the rest of the stuff that's in the garden. So that's so awesome.
So once the produce comes up, or once the fruits and veggies come up, what do you do with them?
Our goal right now is to just give them away. Of course, we have students who at home, you'll be surprised at the people that are right around you that are hungry.
Yes.
So we're giving it away. And so we're partnering with a company called Haponics, and they want to feed 20 million people by the year 2020. Well, because we're a smaller entity, I'm joining him and I'm going to try and feed 2,000 people by the year 2020. So it's to give it away. The second thing that we would like to do, maybe in a couple years after we start feeding more people, we're teaching our students to be entrepreneurs.
You know, that's my love right there.
The entrepreneurship.
And maybe one day I can come back and talk to your kids about being entrepreneurs.
I would love it.
Passion.
I would love it.
Thanks for showing us your garden. This is absolutely beautiful. Once again, we are here with Nanette Shillingford. And I tell you what, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Thank you for sharing with me about, your dream of having these buses. And I know there's somebody out there that can help this woman make this dream come true. And just thank you for being here. It means a lot to me what you're doing with the kids. That's where my passion is, is helping to take care of the kids. What else is something you want the people to know before we wrap up?
We talk about the garden a lot over here. We have an outside because it's not just a greenhouse. The kids are learning the difference between growing in a greenhouse and an aquaponics system as opposed to growing in an outdoor soil garden. And one of the things we're doing with our chicken coop, we are developing organic compost, and eventually what what we're trying to do is get enough compost over there in the soil so that we can take that soil from the chicken coop and transport it over to the actual physical soil garden, so that that vegetation can be organic, and it would allow the seeds to grow better and healthier seeds. And the wonderful thing about that, with all of this doing compost, moving the compost over to the garden bed, the students also are learning academic things, because they are the ones that have to go and measure. So they're measuring volume. They're determining how much compost they actually have to grow over here in order to transport it over to the garden beds, taking the areas and how large the garden beds are. So there's math and there's science that's being incorporated, and I want to say ELA as well. That's one of the most important things, is that reading, because if you cannot read, you can't even do the science or the math that's needed to be done.
Well, once I cannot thank you enough for what you're doing, and tell the people one more time how to get in contact with you, and just thank you for sharing your heart.
Thank you for coming. Yes. You may you can get in touch with me at in Shillingford, and that's NSHILLINGFORD at dateacademy.org.
And I am Doni Jones, your host for Doni Jones Live. And if you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me at Doni, D-O-N-I, at DoniJonesLive.com. That's Doni, D-O-N-I, at DoniJonesLive.com. Thank you for hanging out with us today, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.